Human beings are living beings who have developed mind. When reading on the chapter titled, Human beings are living beings who have developed minds, according to Buddhism, we just want to emphasize the Buddha's teachings on human beings are unique sentient beings who can distinguish the differences between attachment and renounce. In terms of matter, the Buddhist view of the origin of the universe is energy. In terms of the sentient beings, the force that produces them is that of the actions they have accumulated, which cause them to be reborn in that way. If a human being keeps the 5 basic precepts, he or she will continue to be reborn in the human path. People are either completely good nor completely bad, but human beings are harmonious by nature and can get along with other people. If they were completely good, they would ascend to the heavens. If they were completely bad, they would become either animals or hungry ghosts, or even fall into the hells. Human beings have both merits and offenses. Either their merit exceeds their offenses, or their offenses exceed their merit. When a person's merit is greater than his offenses, he will be born in a rich and respectable family. But with little merit and many offenses, he will be born into a poor and miserable family. Generally speaking, Buddhism believes that birth as a human being is one of the most ideal forms of existence because it is conducive to cultivation. So compared to human beings, gods would in fact be considered inferior, even though gods may have some abilities that human beings do not have, such as some supernatural powers. In fact, the realm of gods is still a part of this world, where human beings also live, but that form of existence is less effective for cultivation of the Buddha Dharma. Human beings are living beings. In this realm have sharp or developed minds, capable of weighty moral and immoral action, than any other living beings. The human realm is a mixture of both pain and pleasure, suffering and happiness. Bodhisattvas always choose this realm as their last existence, because it offers opportunity for attaining Buddhahood. The human realm is one of the 6 destinies, gati, within cyclic existence, samsara, into which beings may be born. The sentient thinking, being in the desire realm, whose past deeds affect his present condition, man occupies a very important place in the Buddhist cosmos, because he has the power of decision. Human life is a mixture of the happy, with a good dash of the bitter. According to the Buddha, a man can decide to devote himself to selfish, unskillful ends, a mere existence, or to give purpose to his life by the practice of skillful deeds, which will make others and himself happy. Still, in many cases, man can make the vital decision to shape his life in this way or that. A man can think about the way, and it was to man that the Buddha gave most of his important teachings, for men could understand, practice and realize the way. It is man who can experience, if he wishes, enlightenment and become as the Buddha and the Arahants. This is the greatest blessing, for not only the secure tranquility of one person's salvation is gained but out of compassion, the way is shown in many others. The opportunity to be reborn as a human being is so rare. Thus the Buddha taught, supposing a man threw into the ocean a piece of wood with a hole in it, and it was then blown about by the various winds and currents over the waters. In the ocean lived a one-eyed turtle, which had to surface once in 100 years to breathe. Even in one great aeon, it would be most unlikely in surfacing to put its head into the hole in that piece of wood. Such is the rarity of gaining birth among human beings. If once one has sunk into the 3 woeful levels, or 3 lower realms, today there is ceaseless work going on in all directions to improve the world. Scientists are pursuing their methods and experiments with undiminished vigor and determination. Modern discoveries and methods of communication and contact have produced startling results. All these improvements though they have their advantages and rewards, are entirely material and external. Within this conflux of mind and body of man, however, there are unexplored marvels. To men of science for many years. Really, the world, which the scientists are trying to improve, is, according to the ideas of Buddhism, subject to so much change at all points, on its circumference and radii, that it is not capable of being made sorrow-free. Our life is so dark with aging, so smothered with death, so bound with change, and these qualities are so inherent in it, even as greenness is to grass, and bitterness to quinine, that not all the magic and power of science can ever transform it. The immortal splendor of an eternal sunlight awaits only those who can use the light of understanding and the culture of conduct to illuminate and guard their path through life's tunnel of darkness and dismay. The people of the world today mark the changing nature of life. Although they see it, they do not keep it in mind and act with dispassionate discernment, though change again and again speaks to them and makes them unhappy. They pursue their mad career of whirling round the wheel of existence and are twisted and torn between the spokes of agony. According to Buddhist tenets, the life cycle of a sentient being begins when the consciousness enters the womb, and traditionally this has been considered the moment of conception. Another life cycle begins. The Eastern ancient said, "Man is the most sacred and superior being." However, to Buddhism, any living being's life is precious and of the same value. That is to say, no being's life is more precious than the others. According to the Upasaka Sutra, Buddhism agrees that in all living beings, man is endowed with all necessary faculties. Intelligence. Buddhism also agrees that conditions of human beings are not too miserable as those beings in the hell or the hungry ghosts. To Buddhism, human life is difficult to obtain. If we are born as human beings, with many qualities, difficult to attain, we should try to make our lives meaningful ones. Besides, human beings have intelligence. This precious quality enables us to investigate the true meaning of life and to practice the path to enlightenment. Devout Buddhists should always remember that what rebirth we will take depends on our present actions and habits. Thus, our purpose in this very life is to attain liberation or enlightenment, either becoming liberated from cyclic existence, arhats, or becoming fully enlightened Buddhas. Most of all, we should be able to take advantage of our precious human lives to live to the fullest, moment by moment. To achieve this, we must be mindful of each moment, not being in the here and now. When we act, according to Buddhist point of view, we have precious human lives, endowed with many qualities to attain. Because of this, we can make our lives highly meaningful. We often take our lives for granted and dwell on the things that aren't going the way we would like them to. Thinking this way is unrealistic and makes us depressed. However, if we think about the qualities we do have and everything that is going well, we'll have a different and more joyful perspective on life. One of our greatest endowments is our human intelligence. This precious quality enables us to investigate the meaning of life and to practice to advance on the path to enlightenment. If all of our senses, eyes, ears, mental, are intact, we are able to hear the Dharma, read books on it, and think about its meaning. We're so lucky to be born in an historical era when the Buddha has appeared and taught the Dharma. These teachings have been transmitted in a pure, from teacher to student in lineages stemming back to the Buddha. We have the opportunity to have qualified spiritual masters who can teach us, and there are communities of ordained people and Dharma friends who share our interest and encourage us on the path. Those of us who are fortunate to live in countries that cherish religious freedom aren't restricted from learning and practicing the path. In addition, most of us don't live in desperate poverty, and thus have enough food, clothing, and shelter to engage in spiritual practice, without worrying about basic material needs. Our minds aren't heavily obscured with wrong views, and we are interested in self-development. We have the potential to do great things with our present opportunity. But to appreciate this, we must develop a long-term vision for our cultivation, because our present lives are only a short one. Devout Buddhists should always remember that our mind streams don't cease when our physical bodies die. Our minds are formless entities, but when they leave our present bodies, at the time of death, they will be reborn in other bodies. What rebirth will take depends on our present actions. Therefore, one purpose of our lives can be to prepare for death and future lives. In that way, we can die peacefully, knowing our minds will be propelled towards good rebirths. The other way that we can utilize our lives is to attain liberation or enlightenment. We can become arhats, beings liberated from cyclic existence, or we can go on to become fully enlightened Buddhas, able to benefit others most effectively. Attaining liberation, our minds will be completely cleansed of all disturbing attitudes. Thus we'll never become angry, jealous, or proud again. We no longer feel guilty, anxious, or depressed, and all our bad habits will be gone. In addition, if we aspire to attain enlightenment for the benefit of everyone, we'll have spontaneous affection for all beings, and will know the most appropriate ways to help them. Also, another way to take advantage of our precious human lives is to live life to the fullest, moment by moment. There are several ways to do this, but the most important one is to be mindful of each moment, being in the here and now as we act. When we eat, we can concentrate on eating, noting the taste and texture of the food. When we walk, we concentrate on the movements involved in walking, without letting our minds wander to any other thoughts. When we go upstairs, we can think, "May I lead all beings to fortunate rebirths, liberation, or enlightenment." While washing dishes or clothes, we think, "I may help all beings cleanse their minds of disturbing attitudes and obscurations." When we hand something to another person, we think, "May I be able to satisfy the needs of all beings." We can creatively transform each action by generating the wish to bring happiness to others.